The warning lights flashed red across the command center of Earth's orbital defense station. Admiral Kim Hanna stood at the main display, watching as massive alien ships appeared from the darkness of space. They came in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with strange blue light that hurt to look at directly. "How many ships, Lieutenant?" Kim Hanna asked, her voice calm despite the fear creeping up her spine. 47, confirmed, Admiral. "Each one is at least 3 times the size of our largest cruiser," replied Lieutenant Park Min-soo, his fingers dancing across the control panel. Kim Hanna had been commanding Earth's defenses for 12 years. She had seen asteroid strikes, solar flares, and even rogue space pirates, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. The alien fleet was unlike anything in human records. "They're sending a communication request," announced Communications Officer Lee Gina from her station. "Put it through," Kim Hanna ordered, straightening her uniform. The main screen flickered, sclopped, and suddenly the command center was filled with the image of something that made every human present take a step back. The alien general stood 8 feet tall, with 4 muscular arms and skin that looked like polished stone. Crystalline armor covered its body, and 4 eyes glowed with an orange light. "I am General Vexter of the Galactic Hegemony," the alien spoke, its voice deep and harsh. "I come with a message for your pathetic species." Kim Hanna stepped forward, meeting the alien's gaze without flinching. "I am Admiral Kim Hanna, Commander of Earth's United Defense Force. State your business." General Vexter, as 4 eyes narrowed. "Your business is now our business, human. The hegemony claims this system. You have 72 hours to surrender completely. And if we refuse?" Kim Hanna asked. The alien general made a sound that might have been laughter. "Refuse? Look around you, Admiral. See the power that surrounds your tiny world." The screen split, showing images of the alien fleet. Each ship bristled with weapons that glowed with deadly energy. Fightercraft swarmed around the larger vessels like angry insects. "We have conquered 800 worlds," Vextar continued. "Each one thought they could resist. Each one learned the price of defiance." New images appeared on the screen. Hanna watched in horror as alien weapons turned entire cities into glass. Mountains melted under streams of plasma fire. Once green worlds became nothing but ash and dust. "The Colovians had shields stronger than yours," Vextar said, showing the destruction of a crystal city. "The Drakmari had weapons that could punch through our armor. The Zenthari could bend time itself." Each image showed complete devastation. All of them knelt before the hegemony's glory. Lieutenant Park Min-soo whispered something to his console. Operator Kim Hanna caught the words "impossible" and "no chance." She understood his fear. Any one of those alien ships could probably destroy Earth's entire fleet. "Your surrender terms are simple," Vextar announced. "All humans will kneel before hegemony authority. Your leaders will be replaced by our governors. Your military will be disbanded. Your technology will serve our empire." "Okay, and if we agree to these terms?" Kim Hanna asked, though she already knew the answer. "Then you will live as servants. Your children will know only hegemony rule. You will work for our benefit until your son dies." The star's 4 arms spread wide. "This is mercy, human. More than most species receive." Kim Hanna looked around the command center. Every human face showed the same expression. Fear, yes, but also something else. Anger, the kind of anger that came from being threatened in your own home. "I have shown you what happens to those who resist," Vextar continued. "The hegemony has crushed every rebellion. We have broken every defense. We have made every proud species kneel." The alien general leaned forward, its orange eyes burning brighter. "In 72 hours, Admiral, all humans will kneel before the hegemony's glory. This is not a request. This is reality." Kim Hanna felt something cold settle in her chest. She thought of her daughter studying at the military academy. She thought of her brother's children playing in the parks of Seoul. She thought of every human who had ever looked up at the stars and dreamed of reaching them. "General Vextar," she said, her voice steady as stone. "Yes, human." Kim Hannah took another step forward, close enough to the screen that she could see her reflection in the alien's crystalline armor. "If you want us to kneel, then kneel first, and show us how it's done." The silence that followed was complete. Every human in the command center held their breath. On the screen, General Vextar's 4 eyes widened with what could only be shock. "What did you say?" the alien general asked, its voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "You heard me clearly," Kim Hannah replied. "You want humanity to kneel? Then demonstrate the proper technique. Show us exactly how you want it done." Vextar's forearms began to shake with rage. "You dare mock the hegemony? You dare insult me?" "I'm not mocking anyone," Kim Hannah said calmly. "I'm simply asking for a demonstration. Kneeling is so important to you. Surely you can show us the correct way." The alien general's voice rose to a roar. "You have no idea what you have done, human. No species has ever shown such disrespect to the hegemony. No creature has ever dared to insult me personally. Think, perhaps it's time someone did," Kim Hannah said, behind her. She heard Lieutenant Park Min-soo's sharp intake of breath. Communications. Officer Lee Jina was staring at her admiral like she had lost her mind, but Kim Hannah felt calmer than she had in years. "You will regret this moment," Vextar snarled. "When your world burns, remember these words. When your people scream for mercy, remember your arrogance. When you watch everything you love turn to ash, remember that you chose this path." "I'll remember," Kim Hannah said simply. The alien general's image flickered with rage. 72 hours, Admiral. Then you will learn why 800 worlds chose to kneel rather than face our wrath." The screen went black, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Kim Hannah turned to face her. Officers, all of whom were staring at her with mixtures of admiration and terror. "Admiral," Lieutenant Park Min-soo said quietly, "what do we do now?" Kim Hannah looked out at the alien fleet surrounding Earth. 47 ships that could destroy her world without breaking formation. Weapons that could melt mountains. An enemy that had never known defeat. She said, "We prepare for war." The United Nations emergency session had been called within 1 hour of the alien ultimatum. President Park Jae-won stood at the podium, looking out at the faces of world leaders who had gathered both in person and through holographic projection. The weight of humanity's future rested on the decisions made in this room. "Ladies and gentlemen," President Park began, his voice carrying across the silent chamber, "we face the greatest threat in human history. The alien fleet currently surrounding Earth has given us 72 hours to surrender completely." The Russian representative, Minister Volkov, leaned forward. "What are our military options, Mr. President?" "I'll let General Lee Min-ho answer that question," Park replied, gesturing to the military leader seated at the front table. General Lee Min-ho rose slowly, his weathered face showing the strain of the past few hours. "Our combined Earth fleet consists of 123 vessels. The alien force has 47 ships, each one significantly larger and more advanced than anything we possess. So we're outgunned," stated the British Prime Minister flatly. "Completely, General," Lee confirmed. "Their weapons technology appears to be centuries ahead of ours. Their shields can deflect anything in our current arsenal. Direct confrontation would result in our total destruction within minutes." Murmurs of despair rippled through the assembly. President Park raised his hand for silence. However, General Lee continued, "We are not without options. Admiral Kim Hannah has proposed a defense strategy that plays to our strengths rather than our enemy's expectations. The large screen behind the podium activated, showing Admiral Kim Hanna's face from the orbital defense station. Her expression was calm but determined. "Thank you, General Lee," Kim Hanna said. "I want to be clear about our situation. We cannot match their firepower. We cannot penetrate their shields with conventional weapons. We cannot outrun their ships. Then what can we do?" asked the Japanese representative. "We can be unpredictable," Kim Hanna replied. "Every species they've conquered has fought them using traditional military doctrine. Formation fighting, direct engagement, trying to match their technology. It's exactly what they expect from us." General Lee nodded. Admiral Kim Hanna's plan involves abandoning conventional space combat entirely. Instead, we'll use hit-and-run tactics, guerrilla warfare, and psychological pressure. Psychological pressure. The German Chancellor looked skeptical. "Against aliens who have conquered 800 worlds." "That's exactly why it might work," came a new voice. Dr. Choi Hyun entered the chamber, carrying a sealed briefcase. "They've never faced humans before. They don't understand how we think or how we fight." President Park gestured for Dr. Choi to continue. Dr. Choi heads our most classified research division. He has information that could change everything. Dr. Choi placed the briefcase on the table and opened it, revealing a small device that glowed with blue energy. "For the past 5 years, we've been developing experimental quantum tunneling technology. It was designed for faster-than-light communication, but we've discovered another application." The device projected a holographic display showing 2 ships in space. One ship suddenly vanished, then reappeared behind the other. "Quantum tunneling can move our ships through space-time itself," Dr. Choi explained. "It bypasses normal physics. More importantly, it bypasses their shields." The room erupted in excited conversation. President Park called for order. "How many ships can use this technology?" General Lee asked. "We have enough quantum drives for 24 fighters," Dr. Choi replied. "They're prototype units, highly experimental. There's significant risk to the pilots." "What kind of risk?" Admiral Kim Hanna asked from the screen. "The quantum field affects human biology. Extended exposure could cause cellular damage, possibly death. Each pilot would have maybe 6 hours of operational time before the effects become permanent." The chamber fell silent. 6 hours to save humanity at the cost of the pilots' lives. "I'll take the first unit," came a voice from the back of the room. Captain Yoon Sejin stepped forward, his pilot's uniform bearing the insignia of Earth's elite squadron. "My team volunteers for the mission." "Captain," President Park said quietly, "you understand what Dr. Choi is saying?" "Yes, sir, we understand completely." Captain Yoon's voice was steady. 24 pilots die so that 8 billion humans might live. That's acceptable mathematics." General Lee studied the young pilot. "Okay, Captain Yoon, your squadron has the highest combat rating in the fleet. Are you certain your men will follow you on this mission?" "They're already volunteering, sir. I had to turn away 300 pilots who wanted to join the Quantum Squadron." Admiral Kim Hanna's voice carried a note of pride. "That's what these aliens don't understand about humans. We don't just fight for victory, we fight for each other." A new figure entered the chamber, moving with the silent grace of a predator. Commander Shin Yuna wore the black uniform of Earth's Special Operations Division, her face hidden behind a tactical mask. "Commander Shin," General Lee acknowledged. "What's your assessment?" "The aliens expect us to fight like every other species." "They've conquered," Commander Shin replied, her voice electronically modulated. "They expect fear, surrender, or desperate last stands. They don't expect creativity." "What do you propose?" President Park asked. "Psychological warfare. Make them doubt everything they think they know about conquering worlds. We show them that humans don't follow the rules they're used to." Commander Shin activated her wrist display, showing tactical formations, while Captain Yoon's quantum fighters hit their fleet. "My teams will board their ships, not to capture them, but to cause chaos. will make them afraid to sleep, afraid to trust their own technology. Boarding alien ships is suicide, the French representative protested. Maybe, Commander Shin agreed, but it's suicide that serves a purpose. Every minute they spend worrying about human infiltrators is a minute. They're not focused on destroying Earth. Dr. Choi cleared his throat. There's one more thing. The quantum technology doesn't just affect our ships. It interferes with their sensors and communications. If we can create enough quantum disturbances, we might be able to blind their entire fleet. General Lee studied the holographic displays. So our strategy is to hit them with invisible fighters while special forces teams create chaos on their ships. It's all while jamming their communications with quantum interference. Exactly, Admiral Kim Hanna confirmed. We can't beat them in a fair fight, so we won't fight fair. President Park looked around the chamber at the faces of Earth's leaders. This plan requires every nation to commit their military forces completely. There will be no reserves, no safe havens. We either win together or die together. One by one, the representatives nodded their agreement. The vote was unanimous. Then it's decided, President Park announced. Humanity will not kneel. We will fight with everything we have, using every advantage we can create. Captain Yoon Saijin saluted. My quantum squadron will be ready in 18 hours, sir. Commander Shin Yuna nodded. Special operations teams are already preparing for boarding. Actions. Dr. Choi began packing his equipment. I'll oversee the quantum drive installations personally. As the emergency session ended, Admiral Kim Hanna's final words echoed through the chamber. General Vextar wanted us to kneel. Instead, we're going to teach him why humanity has never bowed to anyone. The countdown to humanity's greatest battle had begun. The 72-hour deadline had passed 3 minutes ago. General Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the small blue world that had dared to defy the hegemony. No planet had ever refused surrender after seeing the fleet's power. No species had ever shown such foolish pride. Begin the attack, Vextar commanded, his 4 arms gesturing toward the tactical display. Target their orbital stations first. Show them what happens to those who mock the hegemony. The alien fleet moved forward in perfect formation. Energy. Weapons charged with deadly light. Shield generators hummed with power. It would be over quickly, just like all the others. Admiral Kim Hanna watched the alien ships approach from the command center of the orbital defense station. Around her, officers worked at their stations with calm efficiency. Everyone knew this might be their last hour alive. Quantum Squadron, report status. Kim Hanna spoke into her communicator, ready for deployment. Admiral, came Captain Yoon Seojin's voice. All 24 fighters are equipped and pilots are standing by. Remember, Captain, your job is not to win. Your job is to survive long enough to cause chaos. Understood, Admiral? We won't let you down. The first alien plasma beams lanced out toward the human defense platforms. The energy weapons were incredibly powerful, turning metal and ceramic into vapor in seconds. 3 human stations exploded in brilliant flashes of light. They're using standard formation tactics, reported Lieutenant Park Min-soo from his sensor station. Just like the records showed from their other conquests. Good, Kim Hanna replied. That means they're not expecting anything unusual. Launch. Quantum Squadron. Now, 24 human fighters suddenly appeared in the middle of the alien formation. They had not flown there. They had not been detected approaching. They simply materialized from quantum tunnels, their weapons already firing. On the alien flagship, alarms began screaming. We have enemy contacts inside our defensive perimeter, reported the tactical officer. General Vextar's 4 eyes widened in confusion. Impossible. Our sensors showed no approaching ships. They're using some kind of teleportation technology, the officer replied, his voice strained. They're hitting our ships from impossible angles. Captain Yun Seagen's fighter emerged from a quantum tunnel directly above an alien cruiser. His weapons tore through the ship's hull before disappearing back into the tunnel. 2 seconds later, he appeared behind another vessel, striking at its engines. How are they doing that? Vexstar demanded. The human fighters were everywhere, and nowhere they would appear, strike, and vanish before the alien weapons could target them. It was like fighting ghosts. Focus fire on the human fighters, Vexstar ordered. Nor the main fleet for now. The quantum fighters were impossible to hit. They existed in normal space for only seconds at a time. By the time the alien gunners acquired targets, the humans had already disappeared. Lieutenant Bei Tae-young crouched in the ruins of what had been Seoul's government district. The aliens had begun bombardment of Earth's surface, but their fire was scattered and unfocused. They were clearly distracted by something in space. All ground units, this is command, came Admiral Kim Hana's voice over the radio. The quantum squadron is keeping them busy. Prepare for surface assault. Bei Tae-young looked up at the sky, watching alien dropships descend toward the city. The enemy was making a mistake. They were fighting humans on human ground, using human rules. Listen up, he called to his soldiers. They're used to fighting in open space or on dead worlds. This is our home. We know every street, every building, every hiding place. The alien ground forces landed in the city center, expecting to face human armies in traditional battle formations. Instead, they found empty streets and silent buildings. The humans had vanished. Where are they? Asked Sub-Commander Kralin X, scanning the area with his 4 eyes. His question was answered by a sniper's bullet that took down one of his soldiers. The shot had come from a building 3 blocks away. Before the aliens could respond, the sniper was gone. Back in space, the quantum squadron was taking casualties. 2 fighters had been destroyed when their pilots pushed the quantum drives too hard. The blue energy that powered their jumps was slowly killing the remaining pilots. Status report. Captain Yoon Sejin called to his squadron. Quantum drive is at 60% power, reported pilot Lee Yemen. I can feel it affecting my nervous system. Same here, added pilot Kim Sora. Vision is getting blurry. Captain Yoon knew his people were dying. The quantum energy was tearing apart their cells with each jump. Okay, but they had to keep fighting. Every minute they survived was another minute for Earth's main plan to work. Continue attack pattern Delta, he ordered. Target their command ships. On the alien flagship, Commander Shin Yuna materialized in a maintenance corridor. She wore stealth armor that bent light around her body, making her nearly invisible. Her mission was simple: cause as much chaos as possible before the aliens killed her. She moved through the ship like a shadow, placing small explosive devices on critical systems. Each bomb was designed not to destroy, but to create malfunctions. Lights would flicker, doors would jam, computer systems would display false information. Sir, we're getting reports of system failures throughout the fleet, the tactical officer reported to General Vexstar. What kind of failures? Random ones? Navigation errors? Communication disruptions? Weapon targeting problems? It's like the ships are falling apart. Vexstar's 4 arms clenched into fists. This is not possible. Our technology is superior to theirs. It's not their technology, sir. I think there are humans aboard our ships. The alien general's roar of rage echoed through the bridge. Find them and kill them all. Okay. But Commander Shin Yuna was already gone, having quantum jumped to another ship. Her teams were spread throughout the alien fleet, turning their superior technology against them. Admiral Kim Hana watched the battle unfold from her command center. The human fighters were taking heavy losses, but they were accomplishing their mission. The alien formation was breaking apart as ships dealt with internal problems and phantom attackers. Admiral, reported communications officer Lee Jina, we're getting interference patterns from the quantum drives. just like Dr. Choi predicted. Good. That means their sensors are being disrupted. Launch the main attack now. The human fleet, which had been hiding behind Earth's moon, suddenly appeared. They were outgunned and outmatched, but they were no longer fighting alone. The quantum interference was blinding the alien sensors, making it impossible to coordinate. Their superior firepower, sir, the alien tactical officer called out in panic. We're being jammed on all frequencies. I can't reach half our ships. General Vextar watched his perfect formation dissolve into chaos. Human ships were attacking from unexpected directions. His own vessels were reporting system failures. Invisible enemies were somehow aboard his fleet. This is not how conquests work, he muttered to himself. This is not how any species fights. Captain, Yoon Seo-jin's fighter appeared one final time, directly in front of the alien flagship. His quantum drive was failing. His body was dying from radiation exposure, but he had enough power for one last jump. Admiral Kim Hana, he called over the radio. This is Captain Yoon. I'm going to clear a path for you. Before anyone could respond, his fighter disappeared into a quantum tunnel. It reappeared inside the alien flagship's main weapon array, for the quantum drive overloaded and exploded. The massive alien ship shuddered as its primary weapons went offline. For the first time in the battle, General Vextar felt something he had never experienced before. Uncertainty. All ships fall back to defensive positions, he ordered. We need to regroup. But regrouping was impossible. The humans had turned the battle into complete chaos. Nothing was working as it should. The perfect hegemony war machine was being torn apart by creatures who refused to fight properly. Admiral Kim Hana seized the moment. All ships, full attack. Show them what happens when you threaten Earth. The human fleet surged forward, their weapons blazing against a confused alien formation. The tide of battle was turning. General Vextar stood in the damaged command center of his flagship, watching his perfect conquest turn into a nightmare. Sparks flew from damaged control panels. Emergency lights cast strange shadows across the bridge. This was not how the hegemony conquered worlds. Status report, he demanded, his forearms trembling with rage. 17 ships have reported critical system failures, his tactical officer replied. The quantum interference is blocking our communications with 12 more vessels. We have lost contact with the ground assault teams, K, and the human fleet. Still attacking, sir. They're using the quantum disruption to mask their movements, K. Our targeting systems can't lock onto them properly. Star's 4 eyes burned with fury. In 800 conquests, no species had ever caused such chaos. The humans were breaking every rule of civilized warfare. Commander Shin Yuna crouched in the ventilation shaft of another alien vessel, listening to the panic in the voices below. Her stealth suit was running low on power, but she had accomplished her mission. The aliens were afraid of shadows now, jumping at every sound. She dropped silently into an empty corridor and began placing her final explosive devices. These were not meant to destroy the ship, but to create more fear. The lights would flicker at random intervals. Doors would open and close by themselves. Computer voices would whisper in human languages. Ghost protocol is working perfectly, she whispered into her communicator. The aliens are starting to panic. Back on Earth, Lieutenant Bae Tae-young watched alien soldiers search the empty streets of Seoul. They moved in tight formation, their weapons ready, but they were clearly nervous. Every shadow could hide a human sniper. Every building could be a trap. Now, he whispered to his team, explosions erupted throughout the city center. Not from human weapons, but from the infrastructure itself. The aliens had landed in a carefully prepared kill zone. Gas lines exploded. Water mains burst. Electric cables sparked with deadly voltage. the alien ground forces found themselves fighting the city itself. Their advanced armor protected them from human bullets, but not from collapsing buildings and chemical explosions. "Sir," one of the alien soldiers called to his commander, "the humans are using their own city as a weapon." "That's impossible," the commander replied. "No species destroys their own territory." "Tell that to them," the soldier said, pointing at a human flag hanging from a burning building. Below it, words were written in multiple languages. "Welcome to Earth. Now leave." In space, the surviving quantum fighters were reaching their limits. Of the original 24 pilots, only 8 remained alive. Their bodies were failing from quantum radiation exposure, but they continued to fight. Captain Yoon's sacrifice opened their main defenses, reported Pilot Lee Yemen, his voice weak from radiation sickness. "We can target their command ship directly." The remaining quantum fighters appeared around the alien flagship like deadly ghosts. They had learned to use the quantum tunnels not just for movement, but for tactical advantage. They would appear, fire, and disappear before the aliens could react. Dr. Choi Heen monitored the quantum signatures from his laboratory deep within Earth's moon base. The experimental technology was working better than he had hoped. The quantum interference was not just blocking alien sensors, it was actually disrupting their shield generators. "Admiral Kim Hanna," he called over the secure channel, "the quantum field is weakening their defenses. Their shields are operating at only 40% efficiency. Understood, Doctor? All human ships target the flagship. Okay? Their shields are failing." The human fleet concentrated their fire on Vexstar's command ship. Missiles and plasma beams struck the alien vessel's flickering shields. Each hit caused the protective barrier to weaken further. "Okay, sir. Our shields are failing," the tactical officer reported. "The quantum interference is affecting our shield generators." Vexstar watched in disbelief as human weapons began to penetrate his ship's defenses. "This is impossible. Our technology is superior." "Not if it doesn't work properly," came a voice from behind him. Vexstar spun around to see a human figure materialize from thin air. Commander Shin Yuna stood in the center of his bridge, her stealth suit shimmering as it became visible. "You," Vexstar snarled, raising his weapon. Shin Yuna replied calmly, "I wanted to meet the general who thought humans would kneel. How did you get aboard my ship?" "The same way we've been doing everything else." "We don't follow your rules." Vexstar fired his plasma weapon, but Shin Yuna was already moving. She rolled behind a control panel as the energy beam melted the wall where she had been standing. "You cannot escape," Vexstar roared. "You are one human against my entire crew." "I'm not trying to escape," Shin Yuna said, pressing a button on her wrist device. "I'm trying to send a message." Explosions rocked the bridge as her hidden charges detonated. The lights went out, plunging the command center into darkness. Emergency power kicked in, casting everything in red light. "The message is simple." Shin Yuna's voice echoed from the shadows. "Humans don't surrender. We don't kneel. We fight until we win or die trying." Vexstar spun around, trying to locate the human in the darkness. "You are all insane. No rational species fights this way." "Then you picked the wrong species to conquer." Shin Yuna appeared beside him, moving faster than his 4 eyes could track. Her combat knife found the gap in his crystalline armor, drawing alien blood for the first time in the battle. "Hey, that's for thinking we would kneel," she said, before disappearing back into the shadows. Meanwhile, the human fleet was pressing their advantage, with the alien flagship damaged and their formation. In chaos, the tide of battle was turning. Human ships that had been running and hiding were now attacking with desperate courage. Admiral Kim Hanna piloted her own cruiser directly toward the alien command ship. Her vessel was heavily damaged, but her weapons were still functional. As Admiral Kim Hanna, to all human forces, she broadcast on all frequencies. The alien general wanted us to kneel. Let's show him how humans kneel in battle. Her ship rammed through the alien defensive line, shields blazing, weapons firing continuously. Other human vessels followed her lead, turning the space around Earth into a storm of energy and metal. On the alien flagship, General Vexter watched his conquest crumble. His perfect formation was destroyed. His superior technology was failing. His soldiers were reporting impossible human tactics on every front. Sir, his communications officer called out desperately. We're receiving surrender requests from 6 of our ships. Okay, they're asking permission to retreat. Retreat. Gistar could barely speak the word. The hegemony does not retreat. They're saying the humans are aboard their ships. They're reporting system failures, impossible attacks, and psychological warfare they can't counter. Vextar looked at the tactical display. His fleet was scattered across the solar system. Half his ships were reporting critical damage. The humans were attacking with a ferocity that defied all logic. General, came another voice over the communicator. This is Commander Kralinex from the surface. We need immediate evacuation. The humans have turned their entire planet into a weapon. Hold your positions, Vextar ordered. Sir, we can't. They're using tactics we've never seen. They're sacrificing their own infrastructure to kill us. They're fighting like they have nothing to lose. Vextar realized the truth. The humans were fighting like they had nothing to lose because they truly believed they had nothing to lose. They would rather die than surrender. They would rather destroy their own world than let it be conquered. Sir, his tactical officer whispered, what are your orders? For the first time in his military career, General Vextar had no answer. Humans had done something no species had ever done before. They had made the hegemony question its own power. Admiral Kim. Hannah's voice crackled over the alien communication system. General Vextar, this is your last chance. Leave our system now, or we'll show you what happens when humans stop being polite. Vextar stared at the tactical display, watching his mighty fleet struggle against an enemy that refused to die. The humans were winning through sheer determination and impossible tactics. The tide of battle had turned completely. General Vextar stood alone on his damaged bridge. Watching the tactical display showed the destruction of his once mighty fleet. 18 ships had been destroyed or disabled. 23 were requesting permission to retreat. The remaining vessels were scattered and broken. Their crews reporting impossible human tactics at every turn. For the first time in 800 conquests, the hegemony was losing. Sir, his communications officer called weakly. Admiral Kim Hannah is requesting to speak with you directly. Star looked at his forehands, seeing alien blood from Commander Shen Yuna's attack. The human warrior had vanished after wounding him, leaving him with questions he had never faced before. How could one species fight so differently from every other civilization in the galaxy? Psst, put her through, he said quietly. The main screen flickered to life, showing Admiral Kim Hannah standing on the bridge of her damaged cruiser. Behind her, human officers worked at their stations with calm determination. Her ship was clearly wounded, with sparks flying from damaged systems. But her crew continued to fight. Kim Hannah said simply. Admiral Vextar replied, his voice heavy with something he had never felt before, uncertainty. I want to discuss terms, Kim Hannah announced. Vextar's four eyes widened in surprise. Terms? You wish to negotiate your surrender? Kim Hannah said firmly, I want to discuss the terms of your retreat. The alien general stared at her in disbelief. Do you think you have won this battle? Look at your tactical display, General. Your fleet. Look at your casualties. Then tell me who is winning. Vextar glanced at the tactical screen. His perfect formation was destroyed. His ships were fleeing or destroyed. His ground forces were trapped on a planet that was actively trying to kill them. The humans had turned his superior technology against him using tactics he could not understand or counter. "This is impossible," he muttered. "No species has ever defeated the hegemony in open battle. Then perhaps the hegemony has never fought humans before." Kim Hannah replied. Commander Shin Yuna's voice came through the ship's communication system, though she remained invisible. "General, I'm still aboard your vessel. I could kill you right now, but Admiral Kim Hannah ordered me not to. She wants to talk." Vexstar spun around, searching for the human warrior, but found only shadows. "Where are you?" "Everywhere and nowhere. Just like our entire strategy." Shin Yuna's voice seemed to come from every speaker on the bridge. "You wanted us to fight like every other species. Refused. This is not how civilized warfare works," Vexstar protested. "Who said we were civilized?" Admiral Kim Hannah asked from the screen. "You came to our home and demanded we kneel. You threatened our families, our children, our way of life. Did you expect us to be polite about defending ourselves?" Dr. Choi Han's voice joined the conversation through the communication link. "General, our quantum technology has completely disrupted your fleet's coordination. Your ships can't communicate with each other. Your weapons can't target properly. Your shields are failing. Even if you could regroup, you're fighting blind." Vexter looked around his damaged bridge. The humans were right. His technological superiority meant nothing if the technology didn't work. The quantum interference had turned his advanced fleet into a collection of isolated, confused vessels. "What do you want?" he asked finally. "Simple," Admiral Kim Hannah replied. "Leave our solar system. Never return. Tell the hegemony that Earth is not available for conquest. And if I refuse, then we continue fighting until every ship in your fleet is destroyed." Kim Hannah's voice was calm but absolute. "We've already shown we're willing to die rather than surrender. The question is whether you're willing to watch your entire fleet die for nothing." Lieutenant Bei Taeyong's voice crackled through the communication system from Earth's surface. "General, this is the human ground commander. Your soldiers are requesting evacuation. My forces have surrounded them completely. They can surrender or they can die. Those are their only options." Vexstar closed his 4 eyes, trying to process what was happening. 800 worlds had surrendered when faced with hegemony power. 800 civilizations had chosen survival over resistance. But humans were different. They were willing to destroy themselves rather than accept defeat. "I have conquered 800 worlds," he said slowly. "And we are not one of them," Admiral Kim Hannah replied. "We will never be one of them." The alien general looked at the tactical display one more time. His fleet was broken. His soldiers were trapped. His perfect conquest had become a complete disaster. But something else was bothering him. Something beyond military defeat. "How?" he asked. "How did you fight so differently from every other species?" "'Cause we're not every other species," Kim Hannah answered. "We're humans. Don't follow rules when the rules are designed to make us lose." "Captain Park," Juwon's voice came through from one of the surviving quantum fighters. "Kina, my pilot is dying from quantum radiation, but he's still fighting. That's what humans do. We fight until we can't fight anymore, and then we fight some." More Vexter understood something then that he had never considered before. The hegemony had conquered 800 worlds by following the same pattern. Overwhelming force, technological superiority, and the assumption that all species valued survival above freedom. But humans valued freedom above survival. "You are all insane," he said, but his voice carried something new. "Respect, maybe, Admiral." Kim Hannah agreed. "But we're free." For several long minutes, the communication channel was silent. Vexstar stared at the human admiral, seeing something in her eyes that he had never seen in 800 conquered leaders. She was not afraid. She was not broken. She was ready to continue fighting, even if it meant the death of her entire species. Slowly, General Vexter began to lower himself to one knee. "What are you doing?" Admiral Kim Hannah asked, surprised. "You told me to kneel first," Vextar replied, completing the gesture. "You were right. I should demonstrate proper technique." The alien general knelt fully on his bridge, his forearms extended in a gesture of respect. Around him, his surviving crew members stared in shock. In the entire history of the hegemony, no general had ever knelt before a conquered species. "Have never encountered a species like yours," Vextar said from his kneeling position. "The hegemony conquers through strength. You have shown strength beyond anything I have seen in 800 worlds." "Get up, General," Admiral Kim Hannah said quietly. "You don't need to kneel to us." Vextar rose slowly, his four eyes meeting her gaze. "The hegemony values strength above all else. You have earned our respect through combat. I offer you not conquest, but alliance. Alliance. Join the hegemony as equals. Your tactics, your determination, your refusal to surrender. These are qualities the galaxy needs. We do not wish to destroy such strength. We wish to learn from it." Admiral Kim Hannah considered the offer carefully. "And if we refuse, then we leave, as you demanded. Earth will be marked as a sovereign world, off limits to all hegemony forces. You will be the first species to defeat us and survive." Kim Hannah looked around her bridge at her officers. Each face showed the same expression, pride mixed with exhaustion. They had done the impossible. They had defeated an enemy that had never known defeat. "We'll consider your offer, General, but Earth remains under human control. Our people stay free. Our way of life continues unchanged." "Agreed," Vextar said immediately. "You would enter the galactic community as equals, not subjects." "Then we accept," Admiral Kim Hannah replied. "But remember, General, if the hegemony ever threatens Earth again, you've seen what happens." Vextar's four eyes showed something that might have been a smile. "Admiral, after today, I believe the hegemony will be asking humans for military advice." As the alien fleet began to withdraw from Earth's solar system, General Vextar sent one final message to the human world. "You told me to kneel first, Admiral Kim Hannah. Today, I learned that sometimes the greatest honor is kneeling before true warriors." Humanity had not only survived their first contact with galactic civilization, they had earned their place among the stars through strength, determination, and the absolute refusal to surrender their freedom. Earth would never kneel. But today, the galaxy had knelt before Earth.